Hello, my name's fucking hell. Anyways, today we're back with a Project Cars 2 standalone video for once. So what a surprise! What are you doing? We are here for a community race around Algarve. It's the 2 hours of Algarve. Right, I'm gonna stop it now. Don't worry, bit of a weird intro for once, but I'm just high on something called adrenaline right now. We're in qualifying. We went out for a couple of runs in the start of the session, but now, here we are, it's the final run. It's time to go out for a final. Oh, we are on a final run. I was up by half a second now, but I got a slowdown penalty. I decided to return to the pit, and guess what? We still have the slowdown penalty. It's a bit stressed, kind of explanation, but, well, half the qualifying session passed over while I was doing the memes with the intro and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but basically this stop-and-go penalty didn't want to go away, and I was like, whenever we got out of the pits with 1:30 remaining, I was like really wondering whether we could actually make it to the end of it, whether we could actually make it around. But you can see, because of the stupid slowdown penalty, no, we couldn't. Of course, how lovely was that? I didn't even know if we could make it normally, but there was a little chance. But with that slowdown penalty, there was absolutely no chance. So qualifying, I'm sorry about the people speaking in the background, but basically in qualifying we managed to qualify in third place, so not too bad. Second row on the grid, behind a Ford and behind another one of the Ferrari guys, and then of course the LMP8 guys. Normally I drive LMP8, which is actually a bit of a surprise, but this time around I decided to try something different. It was just a community race, a test race for the Endurance League. Of course I drove the last season. If you saw, I have a playlist with 9 videos. I'll put it's in the description, but probably also in the eye icon thing in the whatever the freak that's called. But basically I did, if you don't want to watch all of them, you can just watch the final season highlights. I used a lot of time editing it. It's 21 minutes long, so a bit of your time to do that, of course, after you watch this video. But it is time to start up. We have done a formation lap. The first 3 minutes are just where you form up in the formation, and then you go one lap, and then you form at the end of it, and then whenever the leader floors it, we go. But I don't think this guy got it though, because we were a bit too close to the LMP8 cars, a bit too close for comfort, and a bit too close for what would be the ideal stream thing, but eventually it was good enough. And I was actually waiting for him to floor, but I think he was waiting for the LMPs to floor, because, of course, as I said, we were a bit close. But it is a long race. You can see it's 2 hours long, so it's not the start that matters, it's not the qualifying position that matters at all, but at least I thought I had okay pace in this. We're driving the Porsche GT, as you can hear on the sound, but there it is. We are underway for the 2 hours of Algarve in this test community race. It looks like these LMP cars have done something up there, and you can see one of the guys has spun around, so it's a relatively clean race start, a good one actually. We got one position off the line from one of the 4 GTE cars after that roaring start of our Porsche, of course, it has a bit better acceleration than these other cars, so that might also be one point to do so. You can see right there, 2 hours. There's 1 hour and 56 minutes remaining, and I thought I had a little bit of advantage. Oh, we had a little bit of like the car. I thought I had a little bit of an advantage because I felt good about this one. Algarve is one of my better circuits, you know. It's not my best, I have way better circuits, but one of my good ones, and I also enjoy driving around here. A lot of elevation changes, and in the Porsche, it's absolutely lovely to drive. It's a clean race start, but of course, it is a 2 hour long race, so the chance of us staying in this position is not really the biggest one. We also have to think about all of the cars coming through, and of course there's all the LMP8 cars driving, which are around over half of the field. There are 11 cars, we're 8 cars in the GTE class, so I just wanted to try something different. The GT class is a bit more competitive. You can have a bit more dramatic battles in it, because it is a bit slower than the LMP8 class. And I really enjoyed actually driving a little personal private league in the Porsche. Algarve is actually the first race of the season. I managed that one myself, but it's like a little private one with my closest friends. 1-4 in there, and then we have the AIs fill up the rest of the spots. First lap done and dusted. There are only now, I don't know, a couple of 100 laps remaining. Okay, that might be a bit too much. 146, so that's around 2 minutes per lap, and that's 120. So that may be like around a little bit under 100 laps, but You can see we skip forward. We're kind of lonely at the moment. I don't know what the guys did behind. I don't know what the guys did before. First slowdown penalty. You can see the cars are beginning to come through. The LMP8 cars have actually begun to come through now. Now it's the leader coming through. So now it's the second time, and that got a bit close. That one right there. That could end up being very, very dangerous. Of course. We're just having to get used to GT because I haven't driven GT in one of these kind of multi-class races before, but I know how it is to be in the LMP class, so I just kind of try to turn it around and feel like how it is to be in the GT. You can see we're battling with this guy. Actually, the Corvette of Sido Stefan has called up to us. Now we're having to kind of go off that battle because one of the faster cars are coming through. Deal with that one pretty nicely, and we didn't manage to crash that one at all. You can see we were side by side through turn 1 before. And then we kind of, as I said, we kind of have to stop it because there was a faster car coming through, which is also a thing of it. You can see now here we are cruising around. We're basically kind of swapping positions. You can see now we come back for a nice switchback maneuver into turn 1. I braked a little bit early on purpose there because I thought that the biggest chance for me to get back the position was my switchback move. You can see the Porsche out to the side of Ticklish Pickle Wiggle. It's fun how a lot of people have changed roles. Normally I'm in LMP, he's normally in GT, as well as the leader, Andrix. You can see now we have a replay of the start. You can see right there we're on board for the back of the GT cars. We're the Porsche in the front of the other green Ford in the front. And you can see as we go off to the start, it's a clean start for us, right? They're coming into the first corner. A couple of people going side by side, wide into the first corner. Then you have the Toyota kind of out on the side. A replay from the LMP cars on board of the start. You can see it looks like someone touched up in the front, and then eventually they got spun around. Swapping back to reality, we have a guy pretty much right behind us that we're having to fend off still the Corvette of this guy. And basically you can see that lights are falling over Algarve. Lights are coming on. The sun is setting over Algarve in southern Spain, I think it is, or Portugal. But some very nice views. As I said, the Corvette's getting very close to the back of the Porsche, which is eventually us. But you can see it was pretty intense. Some pretty intense battling going on between us. And now here he is, 1.5 hours remaining. Going to the side, outside of us into the first corner, and eventually I try to brake as late as possible. He does the switchback maneuver on us, but get a bit loose out of the first corner, and eventually he also got, I think he waited for us, or he got loose as well, because the forecast was clear to light rain, and if you can see a little bit of sparks beginning to fall, the grab was definitely getting less and less every moment that goes past. And we're basically just waiting for the right time to pit in. It was really like just waiting for the time because you want to push these ones as long as possible. We were thinking about pitting in at any lap, I think, but here we are. 1 hour and 12 remaining. We're going to come into the pits right behind the guy that we have been battling with on this same exact lap. I think it was the point where the rain got a bit heavier, and I think all of us decided to go into the pits around that time. And you can see we're going in for full fuel, and a set of wets. I'm going to speed over this section. And you can see he's still holding in front of us. His pit box is right in front of us. You couldn't squib this. This is too dramatic. But it is time to see who'll do best in the last hour and 10 minutes of this race. In the rain, in the darkness, on Algarve. It's going to be dramatic. So it's all about who's trained the most in the rain. And you can see here we are. He's going out a bit before us. Half a second or something before us. So he had half a second more in the pit box or something. And you just blink to kind of give him a respect sign. We're still gonna be giving each other enough racing room and stuff like that whenever we get onto the circuit, if we can keep up with him. Because I don't know how fast he is in the rain on rain tires yet. But we come out of the pits now. At this point, I am beginning to feel like a kind of weird thing with the force feedback. The force feedback is getting kind of weird. I don't know what's happening. It was almost like I couldn't feel it. I can't feel the difference between losing the car and actually driving the car straight. And you can see I spin it around, and that is probably that third place done if he can manage to keep this one clean for the rest of the race. But we don't know how good he's in the rain yet. There's still 1 hour and 10 minutes remaining of this race. But as I said, it was really not a nice driving experience because I couldn't feel the difference on when I was losing the car and when I was actually doing the right thing in the car. And that's really not a good thing. I'm having to look after when the car turns on the camera on my screen, and that's the only way that I possibly know whenever I'm losing it, because there was no difference. And as I said, I don't know what this was, if this was my setup, because I have driven in rain quite a bit of times before in the league, where I drive the Porsche as well, and I don't know if it was my setup. I did something with the suspension that I don't normally do, because I found out that it made me faster, and I had noticed that it was going to be light rain. So I don't know if that was that, if that is that right now. But we were losing time. I was throwing the car around, and now you can see we're officially down to last place in this race. Things have gone wrong. Things have definitely gone the wrong way in this race by an absolute margin. After the rain came, we have just been dropping in lap times, dropping down to 5th out of 5 in the GTE class, and basically it was getting to a point where it wasn't enjoying. Not really enjoying, but I am literally. I'm gonna try and speak in present instead of past, just to make it a bit more funny, you know. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying different things at the moment. So, rain is falling down over Algarve. It's dark. Some of the hardest driving conditions ever. 37 minutes remaining, and as I said, it's not really a pleasant driving experience at the moment because of the rain falling all over us. And as I said, the force feedback was weird. I was having to look at the screen. You have to try and turn off the force feedback if you want to try this. Turn off the force feedback completely, and then do that. I don't know if it was my setup, if it is my setup, if it is force feedback at least, because this game, I know other people before has had force feedback problems with this game. Actually, one guy quit because he didn't have force feedback in his car. He's absolutely lost it. That one was a puddle, but that other thing, it didn't feel like puddles. It didn't feel like puddles, because puddles is a different feeling. You can feel it in the car whenever it goes. But this was not good at all. 30 minutes. Every minute was getting is getting longer at this point. Every lap is getting longer. Every minute, every lap, every second is getting longer at this point. But we're gonna be fighting to the end of the race. We haven't driven 1.5 hours to retire with half an hour remaining. So whatever is gonna happen, I was trying to fight my way through to the end of the race, and literally beginning to feel kind of sad, because whenever you can't drive, it's not the most pleasant feeling, I have to say. But I'm fighting. I like fighting. I like fighting my way through stuff like this, terrible stuff like this. I like to say that whenever I'm done with this, I can be happy that I made it through to the end. And eventually, that was actually something that I learned for this race, that, of course, not every race can be a good race. Not every race can be a very good race. And in endurance races, everything can happen. Because as you saw, after 40-50 minutes time, we were running second, third, right around there, battling out for that position. And now we've been lapped by second, third, multiple times by the leader as well. But I'm just trying to fight my way through. We have a quarter of an hour left, and that is 1/8 of the race left. And we're going to be fighting this through till the end, as I've said about 1 billion times. But basically, this car was really enjoying to drive in the dry, not in the wet. And I think I'll really have to do some setup changes next time I'm going to drive this car in the rain. Really some big setup changes, because yeah, it was not a pleasant driving experience. You can see here we are, we lose it, we go out to the side, and that was a bit of a funny moment, because whenever I take a look on the outside, we look from the side of us, right? We go from the outside look, and we look from the side, and we've pretty much hit right in the middle of it. We've hit right in the middle of something. It's almost like in darts whenever you hit the bullseye or something, because somehow we've made the most beautiful parallel parking. This is almost like that meme of that guy going like from one side to another guy inside of a hallway or something, and just not managing to turn around. But then we're just here in a GTE car. I mean, doesn't that look pretty similar to be honest? 2 minutes and 14 remaining. I thought this was kind of funny. It was kind of hilarious, because it was a weird mistake. It was a normal mistake, but it was weird that we hit right in the bullseye where there was not a big chance. The only place there wasn't tires, so That would have been kind of sad if it was real life, because then there was actually damage on. Really fortunate the damage is off in this one, but you can see I decide to continue driving in the third-person view. Mostly because I feel like it's, you know, I can see where the car's going now. I can see whether I lose it, because I was living off the screen what it was doing, how it was reacting. Because I can't, as I've said a billion times, I can't feel the wheel. I can't feel the force feedback in the wheel. So I'm living off how the screen reacts to it. And I feel like third person was kind of a better way to see where it goes. I don't ever drive in third person. I kind of disgrace people who drive in third. Nothing. But basically, third person was better at this point for me. Personally, I felt like, because you can better see where the car's going. If you're losing it, you can see it a little bit better and manage to react quicker to it. But I have to say, it was a bit of a weird thing. But I've learned that it's not. You don't have to stick to everything in every single race. We're coming to the end of this race. We're going on to the final lap. Final time will go down. Final time will go over the finish line while still competing in the race. And now we are around 4.5 kilometers remain of this 2-hour race. One guy already think we finished, but we didn't. The leader had to cross the line before we finish the race, and that is what we are waiting for. It's time for the last corner of the race. 2 hours into the race. We've done 2 hours. It went from light to rain and then over to the dark times. I love endurance racing, and I'm not the only one who does that. 2 hours of Algarve, finished, done and dusted in the Porsche 911 GT. Enjoying the experience, but not too enjoying as well. Kind of freaking out at this point, but I was happy that I finished this one. I don't regret that I didn't quit and do something else, use my time for something more useful, and that I did that. But as one guy said inside of the team, inside of the Discord chat, well, I still finished top 5 in the GT class. Oh well, I hope you enjoyed this video, a bit of a different video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that shit, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.